Listen, this isn't just another video about manipulation. This is your wake-up call. Most people will scroll past this and stay blind, but you're not average. I dare you to prove it. Years ago, I was manipulated so deeply by someone I trusted that I questioned my own worth. I remember locking myself in my room one night, tears in my eyes, realizing I had two choices: stay broken like everyone else, or transform. If you're not ready to face uncomfortable truths, stop watching now. Seriously, close this video. Go back to your average life. But if you're brave enough to break free, lock your room, silence the noise, and let's expose the darkest tactics manipulators use to control minds, so they'll never own you again. Number 1. Subtle isolation tactics. Manipulation doesn't always start with obvious control. The most dangerous manipulators don't grab your hand and drag you away from your friends overnight. That would be too noticeable, too easy to resist. Instead, they work quietly, like shadows creeping in at the edges of your life. It begins with small, seemingly harmless comments. Do you really think she wants the best for you? Or, he seemed a little off when you shared your success. Maybe he's jealous. At first, you brush these off. They sound like concern. But over weeks or months, those little seeds of doubt sprout into mistrust. You start canceling plans or holding back your good news, just in case your friends aren't really happy for you. Slowly, without realizing it, you've distanced yourself from your support system. I remember when this happened to me. A friend I trusted started questioning every relationship I had. I thought they were looking out for me. But one day, I looked around and realized I had quietly cut off nearly everyone who mattered. The only person left standing beside me was the one planting the doubts, the manipulator. They wanted me isolated, dependent on their approval. That's the danger. When you're alone, your world shrinks until they're the center of it. If you ever notice someone consistently casting suspicion on everyone else in your life, stop and ask, are they protecting me, or are they positioning themselves as my only safe place? Healthy people don't demand that you abandon others. They encourage you to have a strong, wide network of support. Number 2, love bombing and withdrawal. Love bombing is one of the most intoxicating manipulation techniques. It feels incredible at first. Someone showers you with affection, admiration, and attention. They send endless sweet messages, compliment everything you do, and make you feel like you're the most extraordinary person in the world. They'll say things like, "I've never met anyone like you," or "You're the best thing that's ever happened to me." In the beginning, it doesn't feel suspicious. It feels magical. You think, wow, I've finally found someone who truly sees me. But here's the trap. Once you're emotionally invested, once your heart is hooked, they pull it all away. Without warning, the warm texts stop. The constant attention disappears. Suddenly, the person who made you feel chosen starts acting distant or critical. You feel the shift in your stomach like a stone dropping. Desperate to get back to the honeymoon phase, like you start bending over backwards to please them, to earn back what was once freely given. I've been there, and it's a dizzying emotional roller coaster. You start questioning what you did wrong, even when you've done nothing. The truth is, you didn't fail. Their love bombing wasn't real love. It was a tactic to make you dependent. Genuine love is consistent. It doesn't vanish as punishment. If someone's affection comes and goes like a switch, that's not passion. It's manipulation. Number 3, gaslighting your reality. Gaslighting is perhaps one of the most cruel and disorienting manipulation tactics. It's when someone distorts facts, memories, or events to make you question your own perception of reality. It often starts subtly. Maybe you recall a conversation and they insist, "That never happened." At first you're confused, you second-guess yourself. Maybe I'm misremembering, but then it happens again and again. Over time, you start doubting your own mind. I remember confronting someone about a clear lie once, and they looked me directly in the eye and said with absolute certainty, "You're imagining things." For a split second, I believed them, even though I knew the truth. That's how powerful gaslighting can be. It shakes the foundation of your confidence. Manipulators use this tactic to make you dependent on their version of reality. The more you doubt yourself, the easier you are to control. If your gut tells you something is off, trust it. Keep a journal of events or conversations if you need to. When you see the pattern on paper, it's harder for anyone to rewrite history. Remember, disagreement is normal, but consistent denial of undeniable facts is not. Your memory, your intuition, and your lived experience matter. They are not to be erased by someone else's narrative. Number 4, exploiting your insecurities. We all carry insecurities, small wounds from childhood, fears of failure, or doubts about our worth. Manipulators are experts at sniffing out these tender places. They listen carefully to the things you're sensitive about, and then when it suits them, they weaponize those vulnerabilities against you. Imagine sharing a fear or failure with someone in confidence, only to have them bring it up later, not to support you, but to weaken you. Maybe you've heard phrases like, "Are you sure you can handle this? Remember how badly you messed up last time?" These comments aren't accidents, they're precision strikes meant to shrink your confidence. I once had someone remind me of my worst mistake every time I pushed back against their control. It chipped away at me until I began to believe I wasn't capable on my own. But here's what they don't want you to know. Insecurities don't define you. They are just parts of your story, moments that shaped you but don't control you. When someone exploits them, recognize the tactic for what it is, an attack, not a truth. Healthy relationships build you up. They acknowledge your insecurities, but never use them as weapons. Number 5, false urgency pressure. Creating false urgency is another favorite weapon of manipulators. They know that when you feel rushed, you're more likely to make impulsive decisions. They'll say things like, "This deal is only good for today. You have to say yes now." Or, "If you don't act immediately, you'll regret it forever." The pressure creates a fog of panic, making it hard to think critically. I once got caught in a situation like this. Someone convinced me I had to make a huge choice on the spot. My heart raced. I didn't want to miss out, so I agreed. Later, I found out the deadline was fake. It was designed to stop me from considering other options. Manipulators thrive when you're too rushed to see the red flags. Real opportunities withstand patience. If someone genuinely values you or what they're offering, they won't force you into a rushed decision. When you feel that tight, urgent pressure in your chest, that's your cue to pause. Breathe. Ask for time to think. If they react with anger or panic because you're slowing down, that tells you everything you need to know. They're not offering something good. They're controlling you. Number 6, mirroring your dreams. Mirroring is one of the most seductive traps manipulators use. They don't show up waving red flags, they show up reflecting everything you want to see. They'll listen intently, study you carefully, and then shape themselves into what feels like your perfect partner or friend. They'll echo your values, copy your passions, and even adopt your opinions on topics they'd never cared about before. It feels thrilling, like destiny has finally introduced you to someone who truly gets you. I remember meeting someone who seemed to share my every belief and dream. It was almost eerie how our visions for the future lined up. We liked the same music, had the same moral stances, even used the same phrases. At first, I was enchanted, but over time, I noticed cracks. When they were with other people, their views shifted like a chameleon's colors. Their values weren't real. They were masks designed to win trust. That's the dark psychology of mirroring. They aren't connecting with you. They're auditioning for a role in your life. Authentic people don't need to mimic you to build intimacy. They bring their own dreams and values, and healthy bonds form from differences as much as similarities. If someone feels too perfect too soon, give time and space for their real self to emerge, because truth never rushes. Number 7, shifting blame to you. A hallmark of manipulation is the refusal to accept responsibility. Instead of owning their mistakes, manipulators twist reality so that you end up apologizing for their behavior. At first, it's subtle. You raise a concern, and suddenly, you're defending yourself. If you weren't so sensitive, I wouldn't have snapped. Over time, this pattern chips away at your confidence. I've been there. Once, I apologized for something I didn't even do, just to stop the tension. And it felt easier to shoulder the blame than to argue. But that's exactly what they want. Control through guilt. This tactic keeps you off balance and constantly striving to fix things that weren't your fault to begin with. Healthy relationships involve accountability from both sides. If every disagreement ends with you being at fault, pause and examine the pattern. Is this truly your responsibility, or have you been trained to carry blame that isn't yours? Refuse to accept guilt as a weapon against you. Number 8, silent treatment control. Silence can be more painful than words, and manipulators know it. The silent treatment isn't about taking space to cool off. It's a calculated move to punish and control you. When you set a boundary or speak up for yourself, they withdraw completely. They don't answer calls or texts. They move through the room as if you're invisible. The aim? To create anxiety so overwhelming that you'll do anything to break the silence, even if it means abandoning your own needs. I'll never forget when I told someone I couldn't keep accepting certain behavior. Instead of talking it out, they vanished emotionally. Days of silence stretched on, each one louder than words. At first I panicked. What if I lose them? But over time, I realized the silence wasn't my punishment, it was their strategy. Healthy people don't disappear to control you. They might need space, but they'll tell you. They'll come back to the table and talk. Don't chase those who use silence to make you surrender. Stand firm in your boundaries, because real love doesn't need to manipulate to be heard. Number 9, weaponizing your secrets. One of the cruelest manipulative tactics is turning your own vulnerability into ammunition. Manipulators will invite your secrets, listening with sympathy and even encouraging you to share more. In those early moments, it feels safe. You believe you've found someone who sees you and accepts you. But later, when it suits their purpose, they use those same confessions to control or humiliate you. I've witnessed this. A person revealing a friend's private pain during an argument, cutting deep to win. I've felt the sting when a memory I entrusted to someone was thrown back at me in anger. This tactic is devastating because it attacks the very foundation of trust. That's why trust must be earned slowly through consistent actions over time. Sweet words mean nothing if they aren't backed by loyalty, even in conflict. Share your deepest truths only with people who have proven they'll protect them, even when emotions run high. Anyone who wields your secrets as a weapon doesn't love you, they're using you. Number 10, mixing truth with lies. Pure lies are easy to catch. That's why manipulators prefer a more advanced tactic, blending truth with falsehood. They'll sprinkle in undeniable facts to give their distortions a ring of credibility. For example, they might say, "You missed that deadline and messed up last month's meeting, so you're clearly unreliable." The missed deadline might be true, and maybe the meeting wasn't perfect, but the sweeping conclusion that you're unreliable is a lie built on selective truth. This strategy works because your brain recognizes the truth and instinctively trusts the whole statement. I've fallen for this before, nodding along to a distorted version of events simply because part of it was accurate. But remember, a partial truth can be more dangerous than an outright lie because it bypasses your skepticism. When you hear something that feels partly right but entirely crushing, take a step back. Examine the bigger picture. Healthy people don't distort facts to belittle you. They discuss issues without rewriting your worth. Number 11, the only you understand me trap. Flattery is a powerful hook, and "no one understands me but you" is one of the most seductive lines manipulators use. It makes you feel chosen, special, and irreplaceable. You start to believe you're the one person standing between them and despair. But behind that flattery lies a trap. By convincing you you're their only safe space, they create emotional dependency. Suddenly, you feel responsible for their happiness and stability. I once believed this line. I wore it like an honor badge, thinking I was uniquely important in someone's world. But over time, I saw how they used it to keep me tethered, even when the relationship turned toxic. It wasn't about connection. It was about control. Real connection doesn't demand exclusivity. Authentic people can appreciate your understanding while also having other sources of support. They don't shackle their well-being to you as leverage. If someone tells you you're the only one who gets them, take a step back. Ask yourself, is this genuine closeness or a leash disguised as love? Right now, you're holding knowledge that most people will never even dare to seek. Think about that. You've just uncovered some of the most guarded tactics manipulators use. And most people out there are still walking blind, letting others pull their strings. But you're different. You're not here by accident. You're here because you refuse to live an average life. Here's my challenge to you. Don't just nod and move on. Take one of these manipulation tactics you've spotted tonight, write it in the comments, and declare that you'll never let it control you again. That's your first step toward freedom. But don't stop there. If you're serious about becoming unshakable, you need to arm yourself even further. I've built this channel for people like you, the rare few who don't just watch and forget, but watch and transform. If you've made it this far, you're part of a very small group who dares to see the world as it truly is. And because of that, I want you to dive even deeper. On my channel, you'll find my Machiavelli playlist, packed with the kind of real-world strategies leaders and power players have used for centuries. You'll also find my 48 Laws of Power playlist, lessons so potent they've shaped empires and crushed egos. Don't just consume these secrets, use them. Protect yourself. Master influence. Become someone no manipulator can control. Most viewers will never get this far. They'll click away, numb and distracted. But you're still here. That makes you part of an uncommon circle. So if you're ready to step off the sidelines and into a life where you control the game, not the other way around, click on those playlists right now. Prove to yourself that you're not average. This channel isn't for everyone. It's for people like you. Welcome to the Inner Circle.